You see, none of my videos are shot that way. I don't think I've ever, except for one video, done that for one video. Just, it's not something that I ever really feel like I need to do. And there are good reasons and some excellent considerations as to why that is really. And I hear a lot about it. So I thought, why not discuss it? Why not talk about it? So here we are. Oh yeah, that's nice. Nothing like a good coffee. So there are a couple of different considerations that I need to make when I'm looking at doing a video. As I say, none of my videos are scripted. There are reasons behind that, and here they are. Firstly, the first consideration I've got is that I prefer to know my subject enough that I can talk about it competently without having to read anything. And that I'm not parroting something that I've researched. I'm giving you an opinion on that thing. For my YouTube, all the things that I talk about are things that I love, the things that I really enjoy being part of, and there are things that I'm interested in. I've got an interest in it, and because I've got an interest in it, I want to know about it. And as such, I won't discuss something I don't know nothing about, because if I don't know nothing about it, I'm just reading something, then you can get that from somebody who's far more qualified than me. So that's one consideration. I prefer to know the subject. And the subcategory to that consideration is that I feel that if we're talking and we're having a dialogue, whether that's in the comments below or whether it's on Twitter or Instagram or wherever that might be, I feel like you're getting to know me. If I'm honest, I'd be worse than a waterproof tea bag with a script, because I deviate too much in my head. I've got my own opinion going off in my head, which overtakes the script anyway. So I'd be worse than a waterproof tea bag with that. So for that reason and that reason alone, I don't script things. I prefer to know about them. Secondly, the second consideration I think we need to make is the time consideration, and that is that it takes a lot of time to research something or find out about it or use it or test it out or whatever that may be, and then you've got an inordinate amount of time to script it, and then you've got to rehearse that script, and then you've got to then put that script into play, i.e. through a video. So there's a time element to that as well, and some of us have got lives. I'm sure we all have things we'd rather do as well. We've got things we need to do as well with family or work or whatever that would be. So we've got a limited amount of time that we can spend producing a video, and to produce that at the highest quality and the most accurate that we can, and most engaging that we can, involves sticking our all into that. And so adding in the extra bit from a script, that basically adds a whole chunk of extra time on top of what we're already doing. So that's like a subcategory to that consideration of the time thing. For me, the most I will do is I will bullet point certain things that I know I need to say, and that is a memory thing, not a knowledge thing. So I need to say something about something, I'll put bullet points at the side of the camera saying, mention this stat, mention that, mention the other, because I'll ramble on and then forget that I've not said that, and then I'm having to reshoot the thing again and adding those bits in. So I have bullet points and they look something like that. It's nothing exciting. It is literally a piece of yellow paper with some bullet points on, and they're literally just at the side of the camera. Not today, obviously, but they're literally just at the side of the camera, and they're just there to remind me, oh, you need to talk about that as well. I know about that thing already, as I've said previously. I already know the subject. It's remembering to say it when you're on camera, and you're looking at the clock going up. You know, you're 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, or whatever, and you're thinking, I need to wrap this up now. But you need to get all the information out. So that's another consideration. If you're doing videos for the corporate world, because invariably we don't talk like we write. I certainly don't talk anything like I write. So the literary me is completely different to the verbal me. And so when you're reading a script, you don't particularly sound like yourself. There are ways that you say things that you perhaps wouldn't say that if you wrote it down. And it's quite difficult to write how you speak. So, you know, that's another consideration. And in the corporate world, what happens is, more often than not, and I've done hundreds and hundreds of videos for the corporate, sort of in the corporate arena, more often than not, what happens is the script is written by a PR person who's then given to somebody who's been volunteered. And I use the word been, not did, because invariably they didn't volunteer, they were volunteered to do the video. And so they come in, they've had a script written for them, and I'm using the word script loosely in that it's got no instruction on what the shot should be, when it should be or where, and how it should be shot in terms of mood. And it has also got no instruction or preliminary direction for the talent who's come in to do the filming. So they sit down, they've got this should be said sad, this should be happy, that you should look like a certain way or whatever. So there are massively important parts of the script missing completely. Essentially, it's a Word document with a load of text on it, and you just have to read it off. And that in itself is even more difficult, because not only have they not written it, it's been written by somebody else completely, so they definitely didn't write how this person spoke, but they equally haven't chosen to be there in the first place. This is all predicated on the fact that you don't have a teleprompter. Obviously, they make things slightly easier, although using a teleprompter is not as easy as people think. It is a difficult thing to do, to read at a speed, get it at the right speed for them, and so on and so forth, because everybody's different. So they're also a difficult thing to do. But as far as scripting is actually concerned, I mean, there's no right or wrong way of doing things. I mean, if scripting is what you do and you think that works for you, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that you should not script, or I'm not saying you should script. What I'm saying is this huge thing in the groups I'm in, on the chats in YouTube, and on in the comments and stuff. There's this huge thing about, I've finally managed to get the script into shape, etc., etc., etc. And I always think to myself, well, if you know the thing, then you can just talk it. You can talk about it because you know it. I know about the stuff I'm talking about. So even the tutorials, none of them are scripted. It's not like I'm sat there writing, well, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. I'm walking you through a method of doing it, and that method is the method that I use. So it's just me telling you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And that's the same for just about everything that I do. I don't generally do any of that. I think I've scripted one video where it was voiceover. And voiceover, that's the consideration. That's one of the considerations to look at, is that if it is voiceover, scripting can be the thing that you use. It's more often than not the thing you want to use, because you are getting them to tell a story, and the supplementary shots, the cutaways and all that kind of stuff, they're the actual visual representation of that script. So you're going out and you're shooting the bits that they're talking about, so that you can then add them in over the top of what they're talking about. So a script with voiceover, they work brilliantly, because you've not got this face online going, and I went to the town or city, and you've got this robotic sort of, oh my crikey, I've got to read all this and I've got to get it, and I don't really know what's coming next because it's appearing on auto cue, or I've got this script 30 seconds before, which in the corporate world is not something that is unheard of, is that 30 seconds before they get in the room, they're still making amendments to it, the PR team. And they're like, they're stressing the talent out before they even got sat down in front of the camera. So for me, those are the considerations that need taken into place. It's do you know your subject? So do you actually need a script? Is there enough time, or have you got the time to script it up? Or is it better to just research it and then just talk about it? Is the person that you're actually filming, if it's corporate, a corporate job or any other job for that matter, do they know the subject, and are they capable of reading the script properly and in a manner that doesn't make them look like they've been run on Duracell batteries? And also, is it better to do voiceover where a script is more applicable? And also, as I say, the final consideration is the script actually a script, or is it just a lot of words on a bit of paper that they want people to say? And can that be said? Can that message be said in a way that is more genuine and more sort of appealing to the viewer? So that's basically my take on scripted or unscripted. Nothing you see here is scripted, apart from the one short documentary / film that I made on my YouTube channel. That was voiceovered and that was scripted. Other than that, everything else you see is unscripted. It's not something that I pay much mind or attention to, as you can tell. And as I say, there's nothing wrong with scripting or unscripting, but I always think you're better knowing the subject than you are just coming in cold and parroting something that somebody else has written, or even if that somebody else is you, because you don't write like you talk. So with that, I hope that was useful as a vlog, and yeah, it's just one of those things where I thought, well, I'm hearing a lot about it, and I've had a lot of discussions about it, and I just thought, well, I'll just put my 10 pence in there about what I do and how I go about making these videos. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.